So today we are going to understand how we can build a good word power. This is the topic. Actually, a lot of people ask, how can I build a good vocabulary, a good word power? Because without word power, you can't even understand the passage that you read. You cannot speak better. You cannot impact and influence. You cannot think creatively and deeply. The more words you have, the better you will be at explaining things. And most importantly, in understanding things. Words are not just words. They are images. They are symbols of something that you want to say. So it is very important. So it is very important to improve our vocabulary if we want to succeed in the world. And a lot of research shows that if you want to succeed in your life, if you want to be more creative, more impactful, if you want to speak more powerfully, you need to have good vocabulary. And that is why a lot of people, because they don't have good vocabulary, they find it very, very difficult to understand something or to express their emotions in a right way. So in this session, in this class, we are going to learn how we can improve our vocabulary and make very, very, very impactful. So the first thing that you can do to improve your vocabulary is to read. It is the most important thing. A lot of people I see, they go and memorize difficult words. A lot of people I find, they keep on memorizing words. Today they memorize and tomorrow they forget. It was happening when I was 10 to 15 years of age. Whenever I go to learn English language, people would suggest me to remember words. So today I would remember and tomorrow I would forget. And I would not be able to use those words efficiently because I was memorizing the meaning of the word and not understanding the context of the word in which it can be used. And if you want to use a word properly, not only understand the meaning of it, if you want to use it, then the first thing you need to do is to understand the context of the word, how these words can be used. How can you paint a situation, a scenario through words in the right way? So when you read, you not only understand the words, but also you understand the context in which the words are used. So a lot of time it happens that even though we do not know the exact meaning of a particular word, but when we read a particular sentence or a paragraph, we understand the context of the paragraph. And so it is very easy to understand the words even if you don't understand the meaning. But for that, you need to understand the context of the word. So I suggest everybody to read a lot. If you can't read in the beginning, then start reading small stuffs. Start reading what you're interested in. Start reading small paragraphs, small sentences. I improved my vocabulary in the beginning. I just bought a book of one word and I would just read that aloud. And I would try to understand and imagine the picture of the words. Because words are all about pictures. If you can't imagine a picture of a particular word that you speak or that you listen, you can't memorize it. And later you can't use it. Let's say, when I say mango, what it does is it creates a picture of mango in your brain. The same way, if you want to remember and use a word, you need to imagine. You need to see the image of that particular word. So when I say some words, when I talk about a situation, or when you're reading a word somewhere in a newspaper, and if you want to retain and remember, if you want to understand it completely, you need to imagine the picture of that particular word. And if you do that, it becomes very, very easy to remember. Then the third thing you need to do is to write a lot. The best thing you can do is write what you think. When you write what you think, actually we come across a lot of thoughts. We think at least 70 to 75,000 thoughts in a day. And most of the thoughts, if you see, 90% of the thoughts are repetitive. So if you somehow can write your thoughts, in the best way possible, using the best word you can, understanding the word and the context of it, then what happens is slowly you'll be able to remember everything that you read somewhere. And you don't need to remember the word. In my case, I have a good vocabulary, but I have never memorized a single word. I simply try to understand the word, the context, and I try to image the picture of the word, and so slowly it becomes my part. And now I can use it because I regularly write every day 2,000 words, sometimes 3,000 words I write. And when I write, I can clearly see the picture of a particular word because I'm writing about a scenario. And so after some time, by using those words again and again and again, it becomes very easy, very smooth to understand the words and retain it and use it somewhere, wherever I want. The fourth thing you can do is to practice. The easiest thing to understand is that no matter how many words you remember or how much you read, if you stop using the words, if you don't use it in communication, if you don't use it in writing, if you don't read regularly, then slowly you're going to forget all the words that you have memorized. So then you need to regularly use all the words that you read and that you use. If you don't use it, if you don't speak a particular language, if you don't use those words regularly, it will be very, very easy for you to forget it. So I would suggest to practice these words whenever it is possible. And if you do that, if you do these practices, and the next thing is to define a word. It has worked a lot for me. So whenever I get a word, whenever I listen to a word, and the word is new, so I would see the meaning, I would try to understand the meaning, make the image picture of that word, but also I would try to define that word on the basis of my experiences, on the basis of my knowledge. So if you listen a word democracy, so you need to define what democracy is. You need to ask yourself what this is, what exactly this, what do I think about it? Like this, if you start defining the words, it becomes very, very easy and it becomes like a weapon. After some time, words will become like a weapon. You can use any way you want. And when you use it, you will look impactful. It will make you more confident. It will be very, very easy to express before somebody your ideas or whatever you have. So these are the things that you need to do regularly if you want to improve your vocabulary and make it very, very powerful. And mind my words. It's going to benefit a lot. So you must do these things to improve your vocabulary.